And now,
That's the middle shot. He scores!
Slips it off to Ryan Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
welcome to Sports Talk, the #1 sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website www.sportsrphilly.com.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes to check out when my latest videos and podcasts have been uploaded. And to call into the show, use your voice recording app on your phones. Record yourself and send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. I know what you're thinking. It has been a whole week since I've uploaded an episode, and I have recently talked about how I have to keep doing it during my busy schedule, and I will. It was just a tough week for me. It was a long, tough week, but I will keep pursuing, and we'll just keep that there. And that's all I'm going to say, because we have an Eagles W today. We put up 51 points against the Denver Broncos. So what we had was a 51-23 victory for the Birds. They go to 8-1. I am going to apologize for everything that I've ever said about Doug Peterson and this team in the summer. But let's be honest, guys. Who would have thought that this was coming? If you said that the Birds were going to be 8-1 after 9 games, you would have been looked at like you're a stew-nod. There would have been not a soul who would agree with you. And if you say that, then you're just lying. Because it's just not true. No one saw this coming. But it's great. Our offense looks amazing. Our defense looks amazing. It's the year. It's the year, I am convinced. Carson Wentz throws for 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was 15 for 27. At one point, we even threw in a little Nick Foles action. Ajayi comes in, and he does phenomenal, running for 77 yards and a touchdown. His longest was 46 yards and a touchdown run, which, may I add, that wasn't even close to being a touchdown, and they didn't confirm it on replay. They said it stands. So the original call was a touchdown. They did not have enough information to say that it wasn't a touchdown. But in reality, I don't know how they didn't see that. It was pretty obvious. Corey Clement. 3 touchdowns. 2 rushing, 1 receiving. His receiving touchdown, Von Miller just exploded by him, and he popped on out for a nice little screen and ran it into the end zone. We'll go through the game. Alshon Jeffrey with 84 yards. Him and Carson look like they are starting to click. They're finding the mojo. He's grabbing those balls we expected him to grab in the beginning of the year that didn't necessarily happen early on. Let's go through the game here. I'm so excited. I really do think that this is the year for the Birds. There are other good teams out there, though. Don't get me wrong. But I got to be confident. I can't sit here and say that I'm scared because this is Philadelphia. I'm scared because this is an Eagles team that always lets me down. I can't sit here and continue to do this year after year. You know what? If the Birds do go down this year, it's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay. I will live knowing that I was very confident in my squad throughout the year. It's okay to be confident and say this is the year when they are playing the way that they are playing. If they weren't this successful and I was saying this is the year, then you can say, Brodes, what are you thinking? You got to calm down. So let's break down. Ajayi when he enters the game. His first 2 plays with him in the field, they were play fakes, and one of them led to Alshon Jeffrey. Touchdown, beautiful throw, hitting him in perfect stride by Carson to make the score 7-3 after the Denver Broncos on the first drive really pressured our defense and moved the chains very successfully, but ended up only getting 3 points out of it. Our defense played amazing, and that gave us a short field position that leads to a field goal to make the score 10-3 Birds in the first quarter. What happens next? Robinson with an interception. Beautiful. And then Corey Clement receiving touchdown. This was the one I was talking about. We were supposed to block Von Miller. Von Miller did his thing. He pops out for a nice little pass and runs it in the end zone. That was the end of the first quarter. 17-3. Early on, I think this was a huge part of this game, and it's going to go unnoticed for some. But there was a potential run back on a kickoff in the second quarter. And barely we stopped him. Just barely. And instead of a touchdown, our defense ends up holding them for a field goal. And that was huge because that could change the whole momentum of the game. It would be 17-10 at this point in the second quarter. But like I said, we stopped them. Lead them into a field goal. And now the score is 17-6 in the second half. Burton, an amazing catch in the end zone, puts the Birds up 24-6. Another one where they went to the replay booth and they said they couldn't confirm it. It was clear. Now that one was clear that he caught it. It wasn't a standard catch where it was just 2 hands, 2 feet in. I mean, he obviously bobbled it, caught it, and his legs brought it down, but there was no jumble, the football was secure in his body, whether it was his hands, his legs. It wasn't being loose in his hands or anything. So they call it as it was on the field, which was a touchdown. Thank God. Vinny Curry ends up leaving the game for some time in pain, which is not good to see. I actually think he's having a good year. I was rough on him early on, saying he needs to really prove himself this year, and I think our defense as a whole has really played solid. Think about this real quick. We were talking about how crappy our cornerback situation was going to be, to the point where we had to make a move and move Jordan Matthews to get a cornerback, Darby, who no one really knew about. He goes down and gets injured, right? Think about what we have on the field right now with Mills and Robinson and Rasul Douglas. We said our cornerbacks were going to be weak, real weak. They're playing great, and they are young, and we still have Sidney Jones, who hasn't touched the field yet due to injury. I think we actually look great in the cornerback position right now as we speak, and we don't even have Darby back. So at this point, we force another field goal. Our defense is playing great. The score is 24-9. By the way, at this point, I realized that Carson Wentz beautifully draws the defense off sides 3 times at this point. It's like an Aaron Rodgers out there on that fake snap count. It's beautiful. And this is when Ajayi runs for a 46-yard touchdown to make the score 31-9. So at the end of the second half, the Birds get the ball back with 51 seconds left, and they wasted so much time with the first play. They still had their timeouts left. They waste their time with a run play to Clement. And then it was like after that play, they were really trying to go and charge downfield. It looked like they were going to give up. Was that the plan for Doug Peterson? Was he like, okay, let's run a play, make it look like we're just going to give it up for the half, but we're going to just try and force it downfield right after that play? I don't know. It didn't work. We ended up not getting any points out of it. 31-9 at half. We could add points out of that. Alshon Jeffrey actually made a really nice catch. The next play, we pretty much drew up the same exact style of play for him. He throws the ball, Carson, beautifully right through the hands of Alshon. He has to come down with that one. So in the third quarter, Lane Johnson leaves with lower back problems. Nothing serious. He ends up coming back into the game. Doug Peterson showing his balls a little bit. Goes for it for 4th and 1. Ends up getting a nice little play out of Aguilar for 1 yard. Getting it. And the next play, Corey Clement scores on an option play where Von Miller starts charging at Carson Wentz. He just throws it back to him, tosses it to Corey, who runs it in to make it 38-9. And this is when when we get the ball back. The first Denver sack came with 6 minutes left remaining in the third quarter. That is phenomenal. With a defense like that, that just shows that our offensive line actually handled it. By Ty on the left side. Great game. Cannot complain. That's huge for us because I was nervous about our left tackle situation after Jason Peters went down, as like anybody would be. Like anybody would be in that situation. So it's great. Jernigan goes down. Not good for the defensive side of the ball. I'm sure we will hear more news on that as Doug Peterson speaks to the media. Ronnie McLeod gets an interception, which leads to an Alshon Jeffrey touchdown. 44-9 because our kicker misses the extra point. Now that is 3 in the last 2 weeks, but the 2 that he missed, it was that sloppy raining game. Might have factored in. I don't know. I'm just saying. So they score a touchdown, the Broncos do, to make it 44-16. But you know what? Our defense made them earn it. They made them really earn it. They pushed them to third down and made them make a really tough play. And then it was 1st and goal, and they forced them again to another third down and really made them earn it. I mean, they made them earn their first touchdown. So at this point, we put Nick Foles in the football game. He ends up fumbling the football, and the Broncos score 44-23. They scored 2 touchdowns in under 2 minutes. Was I getting nervous? No, come on. What did I say? We're done with that here in Philadelphia. It's not like that. I was relaxed. The Eagles team's good. We can do it this year. They go for it on 4th and 1. Nick Foles throws a bomb to Aguilar, who caught the ball. And then once he was down, the Denver corner tries to rip it out of his hands and say he intercepted it. Come on, buddy. It's 2017. We're going to go to the replay booth. And clearly Aguilar had the football. And Corey Clement ends up getting his 3rd touchdown at that point to make the score 51-23. And then Denver uses their timeouts at the end. Are you embarrassed? That's a ridiculous move by their head coach. What are you trying to say? We're going to fight to the end? Is that what you're going to say? Because to me, that's ridiculous. The game is over. You got to show that you got your asses kicked. Let's be real. You let the time run out. You shake my coach's hand at center field. And you move on and you go to your next week, Denver. And I believe you'll play the Patriots. So, I don't know. I didn't like that move. Carson Wentz, 23 touchdowns, most in 9 games under the age of 25 since who? Dan Marino. Whenever you are compared to Dan Marino in any way, that is obviously a great thing. Carson Wentz is so legit, MVP status. So we have a bye week coming up next week, which is great. Because we have the Dallas Cowboys at 8:30 on Sunday night in 2 weeks. And that's a huge one. We've yet to play Dallas. They won tonight to improve to 5-3. I'm ready. I'm ready for the bye week. Let them recover a little bit before one of the biggest games that we have. It's just super nice. Sitting there, relaxed. I laid in my bed. I watched it on my laptop because, as you all know, at this point I am at school in the Baltimore area, and the Ravens played on CBS at 1 o'clock, same as the Birds. So this time I just didn't get it on TV, so I went for a little stream. Worked perfectly, laid in bed while I had my 32-inch TV in my room with my Xbox. with Red Zone. So it was cool. It was a nice little relaxing day. And then I continued to watch the games. The new Call of Duty came out. So yeah, you know what? I have been grinding a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I've been grinding the sticks lately. It's a phenomenal game. I needed to get it. Call of Duty. So hopefully it doesn't interfere with the love of the sports talk. We can't let that happen, boys. We can't. So let's move on to what else happened around the NFL today. The Panthers beat the Falcons, and that makes me happy because I'm not really afraid of the Panthers. I know we beat them, and it wasn't the best game we've played, but for some reason I am not afraid of them. And Julio Jones looks a little injured out there. Something is wrong with his hips, his legs, a lower body injury. He did not look himself out there. He missed a wide open touchdown. There's memes all over the place on Twitter because he face plants after he misses it, and that is uncharacteristic for somebody like Julio Jones. So the Panthers get their 6th win of the season, which is the same amount of wins that they had all of last year. Kind of a boring game with the Colts and Texans, but because of, by the way, which we haven't been on the air since that's happened, but Deshaun Watson out for the rest of the season because of practice. Oh man, is this happening again? Is this another Teddy Bridgewater incident? I really hope not. He was playing so well. You hate to see that. How does something like that keep happening? And on the same exact day that Deshaun Watson tears his ACL, Andrew Luck is done for the season as well. Just crazy. Houston signs Matt McGloin as a quarterback, even though Savage is going to be playing. I don't know. That's just ridiculous to me. There's obviously other people, I don't want to say the names, that are out there. That's better than Matt McGloin. Think about it. As much of the people say out there, shut up, Kaepernick, you're just not good anymore. All I have to say is Matt McGloin. Colts win 20-14. Now here was an interesting game with the Bengals and the Jags. The Jags win 23-7. But AJ Green puts Jalen Ramsey in a chokehold and throws about 7 punches. Ramsey gives him a little shove after a play, and then he just erupted. They both got ejected from the game. It was wild. How can someone like that, a professional, a great wide receiver, let someone like Jalen Ramsey, who is a good corner, obviously, get in his head like that and to put him in a chokehold? He ends up taking off his helmet and talking smack on the field at Jalen Ramsey. I've never seen anything like that. He was completely cocking his arm back and throwing full-on punches into Ramsey's helmet. Never seen anything like it. The Saints with another W, who improved to 6-2. They destroyed the Buccaneers, and Jameis Winston leaves the game with a shoulder injury. And speaking of 51 points, Philadelphia Eagles, the Rams. What a different year this is for the Rams. They put up 51 points against the New York Giants. After the game, Ben McAdoo was asked, "What did you tell your team at halftime?" He didn't even know what to say. It's like he blacked out. He didn't say anything. In what world do you not, like, I thought the Eagles were in a really crappy situation with the head coach. Holy cow, what is going on in New York? Worst head coach in the National Football League. The Titans beat the Ravens 23-20. The Cardinals beat the terrible 49ers 20-10. And speaking of the 49ers, apparently Jimmy Garoppolo was only traded there because the 49ers are using that as trade bait. Let's see how that goes off. I mean, I get it to an extent. Jimmy Garoppolo has some strength with the trading situation. I know that you can't because of the no more trading allowed in the NFL at this season, the trade deadline. That's what I was looking for there. So maybe for next year, who knows what they're going to do. But speaking of the trade deadline, the Browns First off, their mistake was they were trying to get a trade for A.J. McCarron. I am sorry, Cleveland, but that is not who you need. The fact that you are trying to pursue an A.J. McCarron is my first question on the board. But they were so excited they forgot to turn in their paperwork and they missed the trade deadline. Everything was final. The league accepted it. The Cincinnati wanted it to happen. And they just couldn't get it done. They interviewed another GM in the league saying, and he said, that's ridiculous. You are supposed to have backups. You're supposed to be prepared. And it's just Bush League. And it pretty much just sums up the Cleveland Browns on how they did not get that trade done. And I agree. That's insane. So we hit the 4 o'clock games, which were really solid, actually. The Redskins come from behind late to win 17-14 against the Seahawks. Another team who last week they showed some offensive threat, but then this week they show their strengths again are clearly not with the offensive side of the football. I put Jimmy Graham in because, hey, he had 2 touchdowns last week. Nope. Crap this week, and I lose again. I think I'm like 3-5. Oh, please tell me I'm not 3-6. I forget. Now I have to check. It's bothering me. I'm gonna lose because I needed Amari Cooper to get me 30 points on this Sunday night, and it clearly did not happen. So at this very moment, I'm 3-5. I will be 3-6. Sucks. I hate fantasy this year. I am doing god awful. Cowboys beat the Chiefs. I wish we got another crack at the Chiefs. They were hot those weeks. We played them week 2, and we lost by a touchdown after getting a late touchdown and really fighting back. We had a Hail Mary chance, did not get it in week 2. But I'm not scared of them anymore either. I'm not scared anymore. That's all. That's all it comes down to. I'll say it 1,000,000 times. It's the year. And you know what? I don't care. It's the year. It's the year. You know what it is, Brodes? The year. That's right. Sunday night football game. Dolphins, Raiders. Both teams are very uninteresting to me. I thought the Raiders were going to be way more entertaining this year. But, you know, you had the Derek Carr thing. He's back. They win 27-24. I don't know why I don't like the Dolphins. Maybe it's because Jay Cutler, and I think he's just an absolute bum. By the way, I forgot to talk about the Thursday night football game, which was kind of more exciting than I thought it would be. The Jets at home beat the Bills 34-21. And then the Monday night game is Packers hosting the Lions. Buffalo is 5-3. Who would have ever thought that? Kansas City is now 6-3. The Saints 6-2, like I said. The Rams 6-2, and the Birds 8-1. Just looking at the standings here. New England 6-2. That's where we are in the NFL at this week. It's going to suck next week not having the Eagles to watch. But relaxing. It's not like I'm not relaxed watching the Eagles anymore, if you know what I mean. Because I know we're going to get it done. Let's go college. Let's go college. Michigan State beats Penn State 27-24. Barkley struggles. And you know what? That pretty much just said, screw you, Penn State. You're not going to the 4. You're not making the playoffs this year. That's what that said. Barkley had 63 yards on 14 carries. 33 yards on 3 catches. 0 touchdowns. Tough day for a Heisman runner. You say that? How about this? Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State 62-52, and Baker Mayfield has himself a day. 598 yards. Almost 600 yards. 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. What? That clearly helped his Heisman running chances. He literally almost threw for 600 yards, 598. That is unbelievable. And you know what else helps that situation? The fact that Ohio State loses to Iowa in a dominant performance. The score was 55-24. How about these stats for JT Barrett? 4 interceptions on 208 yards. 4 picks. Baker Mayfield clearly had the best week in college football. Washington State pulls through against a 21-ranked Stanford 24-21. Clemson wins a nail-biter 38-31 against NC State. Miami beats Virginia Tech, a 10-13 matchup, 28-10. And USC beats Arizona 49-35. Great matchups this week. It really, really was. I don't think we discussed this last week, but the college football poll for playoffs was Georgia 1, Alabama 2, Notre Dame 3, Clemson 4. This was before this week where I just read off the scores. How are you going to do Bama dirty like that? How can you do that? I don't understand the process behind that. I really don't. Alabama is by far so dominant, and that I'm sure is pissing them off. Nick Saban says he doesn't listen to anything. He doesn't listen to you guys talking to the media. That's crap. You don't think that's eating away at him, that they got disrespected like that? That's good, though. That's good. Hopefully, that just gets his team absolutely fired up and ready to go. I'm looking at the new rankings right now as we move on here, because I know Penn State and Ohio State got moved out of the top 10. Oh, indeed they did. Indeed they did. I'll read you off the top 10. Starting with 10, Auburn, Washington, TCU, Miami at 7, Wisco at 6, Oklahoma cracking the top 5. So they're close. And Bama moves to number 1, Georgia 2. Weird how that works. Notre Dame 3, Clemson 4. So obviously those stay because they did not lose. Ohio State is now 11. Penn State is now 16. And to me, they don't have a chance anymore. No two-loss team is going to find itself into the 4. Just will not happen. It won't happen. I guarantee it. So it's a shame because I really thought Penn State had it this year. They had a team before that Ohio State loss. Just think about it. Think about that last 5 minutes when they were down 11 points in Ohio State. If they were able to finish that football game, they'd still have a chance, even with a loss. Even with a loss. Back-to-back losses, though. Ohio State loses to it dominantly, though. It wasn't close to Iowa. And all the problems started right off the gate in the first inning, top of the first. Bregman reaches safely at second because of a throwing error, and Springer ends up scoring for the first run of the game. Off an error. Same inning, Altuve grounds out to first, but Bregman ends up scoring. So off an error, pretty much, Houston gets a 2-0 lead. Then at the top of the second, they ground out. McCann scores. 3-0. Top of the second again. Springer homers. Gonzalez scored. 2-run shot. And it makes it 5-0 after the second inning. Pretty much no action other than that. Besides at the bottom of the sixth, Peterson scores for the Dodgers and made it 5-1. So the first 2 innings, exciting to an extent, even though they were based off of errors. And then at the bottom of the 6, you think the Dodgers have some life, but it came up short. So overall, I mean, yeah, it was a boring Game 7, and what are you going to do? Before you know it, it's going to be spring training, the Phils are going to be here, and it's going to be time for Rhys Hoskins to show the world it's time here in Philadelphia. Sixers. How can I not talk about my Sixers? We just win games now. We win basketball games. We are on a win streak of 4. We play Tuesday night against the Jazz. We are 5-4. We had a slow start. I knew we'd be okay. Ben Simmons is starting to be legit. All those people, and I know they're out there saying that this kid couldn't bring LSU to an NCAA tournament. There's no way this kid's going to be able to play in the NBA. Do you remember those guys? Jokes are on you. LeBron James 2.0. Jokes are on you. This guy is unbelievable. I was thinking about this. Every time I bring up the Sixers, how great they're doing, all these games they've been playing, I talk about how he's like LeBron, how great he is, how great he facilitates the floor. Do you think Cleveland sports radio after every single game just talks about how amazing LeBron is? No, at this point, it's just obvious that he's that great. And they just talk to him like, oh yeah, casual 57. Yeah, casual 57 for LeBron James the other night. Now, I know they're struggling. They're 4-6 at this very moment. They're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. I promise you that. You really think my man LeBron is just going to let this season fall apart like that? No. Won't happen. He'll be okay. They're going to figure it out. It's a new squad. It happens. It's like the Patriots. After a couple weeks in the beginning of the year when the Patriots were 1-2 or whatever it was. This team doesn't have it. Oh, yeah? They're going to be in the AFC Championship game. So, as I was saying, with the 76ers, we've been playing great. They beat the Pacers last game, 121-110 on our floor. The team has been talking about how great playing at home is, how great our fans are. They've seen it in the past. It was miserable the last couple years. Here we go. We're bringing the hype because this team is legit. Sharch last game with 15 points. J.J. Redick with 31. Robert Covington with 22. Embiid 18 and 9. Ben Simmons 14 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. His stat line looks just like you know who. Just like him. They played the Hawks a game before. They won 119-109. Robert Covington 22 points. Embiid 21 and 12. Ben Simmons, 19 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Just your average stat line. Oh, it looks amazing. 4-5 we are. 5-4 we are. As the Boston Celtics are 8-2 up at the top. Kyrie doing what he needs to do there to keep that squad alive without Gordon Hayward. Isaiah Thomas actually talked about Jahlil Okafor and how we're doing him dirty. Let the man play. And honestly, I agree. I definitely agree with that. To an extent. I think we're just shutting him down, and this could be a story where this guy is so fired up because he never got his chance here. He's going to go somewhere else. He's going to do well. I get it. We got our own thing going here right now, but I just can't believe that this guy can't be a piece to it. Now, I know Brett Brown wants to run the floor fast. We want to be a fast-paced team. We want to be a fast offensive team, and this guy needs, one, to be conditioned, which he does look slimmer this year, which I've been talking about, and two, his game is to get in the post, slow the game down, get the ball in the post, and do a shimmy and go to work. I get it. But you're telling me my man can't play at all? At all? I don't know. Damian Lillard the other night hits a buzzer beater with Brandon Ingram on him against the Lakers. It was beautiful. It reminds me of that Dame shot he had in the playoffs a few years back. It was great. Speaking of the Lakers, Lonzo Ball is getting criticized because the man can't shoot. He's not shooting enough. He's always looking to pass the basketball, which is great to an extent for your point guard. But it's the NBA now. You got to learn how to shoot too. Could you imagine Steph Curry just being a great passer, John Wall just being a great passer, not having that threat to shoot? It changes the way people defend you. Now let's go Fly Guys. They lose against the Blackhawks on Wednesday Night Rivalry, NBC Sports. Shutout. The next night they play a back-to-back in St. Louis. Neuwirth gets a shutout, and they beat the 10-2 Blues. They won 2-0. I just feel like, I hate to say this, then we play against Colorado, and it was a back-and-forth game. We lose in a shootout. And I just feel this is typical Flyers. Can't get those points. Those points mean stuff. At the end of the year, you're going to look back at all these overtime losses, all these shootout losses. You count up those points, and you see the difference. Now, I'm not hating on this team because I feel like we have some injuries in the back end, which is definitely hurting us at this point. We're a good team. You look at our roster, I think we have a little bit more than what we normally do have. Claude Giroux is really playing solid as hell at this point, to the point we are right now. I'm not ready to shut down this team yet. We are 7-6-2 with 16 points in the Metropolitan. We're hanging around that 500 stage. We really have to have this push, though. There needs to be a push here in this season where we start getting points. Now, last year we did it. We went on that 10-game winning streak, along with, I felt like, every other team in the league, and we did not really jump anyone. We need to make a push and start drifting forward past this 500 mark. Because if not, we're going to be stuck with this 500 hockey team that's going to be 9th seed and not get in the playoffs. I think we have it this year. I do. I think we have a little bit more depth to our squad. We still have Nolan Patrick injury. Wayne Simmons isn't doing what he did last year, but it's different. He's the kind of guy that sits in front of the net and scores those greasy goals. He's not playing horribly. He's just not putting up the goal amount right now. We'll move forward. I know we will. I just think, just every time I watch them, it's typical Flyers. And maybe I need to get this Eagles mindset with this Flyers team. It's different now. I can't just say this is Philadelphia. Now it's how it's going to be for the Flyers. I think I need to get out of that mindset as a whole. Our next game is Thursday. We had a big break off. Next game is Thursday. Flyers host the Blackhawks. So maybe a little redemption. Maybe a little redemption. A little longer episode today. It's been a while. It's been a whole week, and I hate that. I hate that. I want to be more consistent. I need to be more consistent, and I will be. I promise. There will be another episode out this week. Call of Duty might be holding me back a little bit. I gotta make sure that these episodes are coming out for you guys. So thank you so much for listening. The Birds are 8-1. It's an amazing feeling. I will be back later. Follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. That will show you when my newest episodes are dropped. And also, call into the show using your voice recording app and send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you for listening. See you next time.